your Instagram. My name is Michelee Smith Times. I'm a journalist. I am an author. I'm a teacher. You can find my book, Taming the Beast of Anxiety, on Amazon. Today I'm going to have a really special guest all the way from India for my American audience, and for the Indian audience, I am all the way from America. And we're going to be talking about that well-known subject of anxiety. So, as we can see, anxiety is something that affects people of all ages. It affects people of all genders, old people, young people, brown people, not so brown people. Everyone deals with anxiety in one way or another. So I'm going to be talking to Upasana Hardani, and she and I are going to be talking about anxiety and how to combat it. So my method for working things out is going to be a little bit different today. Usually I greet everybody and as soon as they come on and I mention names. We have a limited time, especially since the time is 12 and a half hours difference. So if you have a question, be sure to use the question box, which should be right about there for you. Hopefully I got that right. Question box right about there. And if we have time, we will definitely get to that. So this is a topic that affects everybody. And the thing is, when you're dealing with anxiety, it also affects people in the family. So you could have anxiety, but it's affecting your children, it's affecting your parents, it affects the people you live with, and it affects the people that you work for and work with. So we are going to be dealing with a little bit of the stigma that people feel in discussing anxiety. Believe it or not, I still do have some reservations about discussing it sometimes, because it's just, you never really know how people are going to react to it. Okay, so Upasana is joining us now. Let's see if we can get her on. There we go. Sometimes a little tricky getting people on. Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine too. Oh, wow, you're wearing a bindi and you're looking beautiful in it.
Thank you. I have on my bindi today, but I would like the audience to know I did ask you. I believe in respecting cultures. When I was younger, I used to wear bindi a lot. It was just a spiritual thing. So I did ask you today. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you. You look beautiful yourself.
Thank you, thank you.
So introduce yourself. I want to make sure that your name is said properly. I think I said it right, but I want to make sure.
Upasana.
Upasana. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to know, you've accomplished a lot in your very short lifetime. And I know that you're an inspiration for a lot of people. Can you tell us how you got started with yoga, as well as how you got started with your education?
Okay. Like for me, since my childhood, I was little bit spiritual more, as my family background was the same. We used to chant mantras daily at my place. So, there was something that money or financial thing is not so important in life than being a good person or being a good human being, you know,
Right.
so that we can help some other humanity too. So my more focus was to do something which is more valuable in life rather than
Yes.
just earning the money and going up, you know, uh, which is actually waste.
It,
So
it
I
really
always,
is. It really
yeah,
is a waste.
I was always like, I collect blessings from everyone, maybe young or an old person. So I just that time, when I crossed my schooling, then my education life is totally ups and downs. Like my health was not okay, so I have to take admission in the worst college, you know.
Right.
So as I was not getting the admissions anywhere, so that time also my heart was not with me, like this is not I what I actually want to do, you know.
Right.
So at that time of period also there was one of my sir who said that I can see the aura behind you, so you don't belong here. You go and spread the awareness of spirituality and reality of life. That was amazing when he said me this, because he was priest too
Right.
in a church. So that was like heart touching. And when I just started reading about yoga and yogic books, I wasn't knowing that we have in education also. So I
Right.
started that, and I started this journey in 2009. And in 2015, yoga was highlighted as a International Yoga Day.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So, but before that only, I have taken all those education, and I was inspiring other people to come in yogic life. My main focus
Right.
was this. Further, once they have those interest, once they got, that taste of yoga, then later on it's their own journey how they take it.
Right.
So my
Right.
main is to bring the people for awareness of reality of life, you know.
Yes.
So I started doing that.
May I ask you a question? I let's see, I need to figure out how to phrase this. In some parts of India, is it not acceptable for girls or women to go to school?
Correct. True.
Was
And
that
that
the
was my main reason for the disturbance in my educational field too. I
wow.
mean, when I got ill because there was so much of restrictions being a
Yes.
girl, and
I
it was like,
know.
oh, how can it be? Not my mom, dad, but I have faced that all things with other family members, and it
Right.
was like too much strange thing for me. Like my mom has
Yes.
never taught me like that, but situation and life taught me. So that time of period, there was still something inside that no, I want to get education. I want
Right.
to be educated. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not only that you have to get married and,
Exactly.
settle with the kids.
Right.
So that journey was little bit difficult. So I was ill, and so my
Mm-hmm.
education, as I was not getting anywhere the admissions, and there also I got so many people who were judging me on this, like why she is in this
Yes.
college, you know as
Right.
the other people were not of the same mentality. But that was
Right.
time or period I have to cross with. But still that education thing was in my heart, and so it made me to learn more, grow more, and now I've done with the highest studies in yogic
Wow.
science.
Mm-hmm.
Now
So,
I do some researches too on that.
mhm. Okay, so when you decided that you were going to do this, who were most of the people that you felt were keeping you from doing this? Was it more the men or more the women?
Both, I mean.
Both. Wow. And so you just had to persevere and decide that this is what you were going to do.
Exactly. My
Wow.
heart is.
Uh-huh. Um, in my book, one of the things that I write about towards the end, one of the last phases that I talk about with anxiety is because you're not connecting with your purpose. And that almost sounds like exactly what happened to you. As soon as you were able to connect with your purpose, all of those worries kind of fell away. Do you feel like that's about right?
Right, 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 right.
Yeah. I also know that you went through a healing journey with your father-in-law. Can you tell me a little bit about that? That sounds intense.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's a big achievement in my life, I can say, because being in yoga field, I was very much positive and energetic, like I can do anything, just
Right.
where I was just healing so many people. So I can rock in yoga. And actually there was a time where
Right.
I was at the top in my career, not only by finance, but I met so many famous personalities from India
Mm-hmm.
in yoga and spirituality. I met them, I had discussion with them, and it was like rocking stage of my life when I got married. And the moment I got married, I realized that my father-in-law is OCD patient, and
Yes.
being an OCD patient for 24 hours at your home is not a joke.
Right.
No, it's not a joke, because I can sense that, I can feel that how painful it was, the depressive
Yes.
atmosphere at home.
You
And in
can
this
feel it.
stage, it's not possible for you to go out and spread the awareness of yoga and just do a fake. I can't do that when
Right.
mentally you are not so, you know stable. And
Mm-hmm.
he was on a severe high stage of OCD. It was not a common
Wow.
one. So I took a break from my yoga practices, yoga people, yoga community, and where I was on the top, I decided, I got an offer also from Spain and other countries that,
Wow.
just 1 hour you will get 50 50,000 something just for 1 hour.
Wow.
And I was like, money is not so important, my family
Exactly.
is more. So for that, why should I leave him? He is also struggling here, being my
Right.
part of family. Just I'll go and run towards the money. So I just stopped everything and I focused on my father-in-law day and night. It was very struggling period for me, because even
Yeah.
I started feeling depressive, you
Right.
know
Right.
with no happiness at home, and you have to pull the person out from it.
It
I
sounds like
gave
you
my
had to pull yourself
100%.
and him at the same time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
even I got affected by it.
Yes.
It was very difficult. I took 1.5 year, day and night, running behind him,
Wow.
where
Oh,
the
I get
doctor said,
anxiety just listening to that.
the doctor
Really.
said, psychiatrist said that now if we give him the ECT shocks, he may be no more. So I didn't
So
feel
he used to
good
get
hearing
shock
that.
treatments.
Yes, three
Wow.
times in a week.
3 times a week. Wow.
So you can understand he won't remember anything where he is, what's going on behind him or anything. And again, slowly, slowly, his mental status comes back, and again he goes into depression. This was a cycle, I have to go through day and night and months and years.
Yes. Well,
And
what? Mm-hmm.
for that, my husband respects me a lot.
That's
I feel good,
amazing.
because I never thought that this will happen ever, because I was more focused on my work. Like I'm
Right.
working, even I'm working at home.
Right.
First I was feeling depressive, but then I took it in a positive way, that patient is with me for 24 hours, so I can give my 100% to him. So
Yes.
as much as possible I can, because he was struggling from 35 years with the OCD
Mhm.
struggle. And
Wow, that's a
it
long time. Suffering.
yes,
That's suffering.
yes.
So
So
was
when
it
I
just something
started,
in your spirit that said, I have to save him? Because at that time, you weren't completely free of anxiety yourself. As you said, it would cause you depression sometimes. What caused you to press forward and keep
see, because my
saving
husband
him?
used to see my husband used to be more busy at his office work, and my mother-in-law was also working at that time of period. uh, so like father-in-law wanted someone to be around, and he used to cry, he used to be
Oh,
like lonely, and all those things. Like when I see at home that this is my life now after marriage, and my husband is
right, I know.
depressed, My husband is depressed because even he is not happy when he sees his father like this.
I know. And
So
then you got to think about it too, because he saw you and it was causing a lot of stress for you as well. Wow. Hmm.
so it was like terrible time I passed out with, but I'm happy that after so many days and nights struggle and efforts gave some fruits too. Like my father-in-law wear an earphone now and talk to people, go out, normal walk, and he comes back and it's like just wow, you know.
That probably seems like the difference between living 35 years in hell and finally getting to heaven. Seriously. I bet he feels so free right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
what a blessing. So I noticed that your Instagram account is doing really well. Can you tell me about your motto?
My motto. See, actually, what happened was that many times in life, when I was doing my best, in every
Yes.
field, I faced nepotism in my job. Okay, I
Mhm.
faced comparison, competition, criticism,
Yes.
jealousy,
Yes.
and like trolling down, pulling legs, and
Mhm.
like judgments and other people's opinion towards you,
Right.
and spreading in that group of people was more struggling, means more uh, you know depressing, where I'm
Yes.
trying to stand up, I'm trying to bring the positive atmosphere at my home or anywhere, I'm just
It's
trying to
so
be good.
hard. Yes.
And the people or the community where I belong to, I guess, were not for me.
Right.
You know, my
That's good to
yoga
know.
people ask me that where were you so many, years, and I just have one answer, that I was sowing a seed,
Yeah.
watering it in a non-fertile soil
Yes.
for
That's
so many
perfect.
years.
Yes.
I was thinking, I was hoping that, in this, the seed will grow as a plant.
Right.
But the soil was not fertile.
Right. Wow.
So now I understood, and I'm out of that community, that it's okay. There are people, those who don't accept you because they, make you realize that they don't like you. They
Right.
don't need you.
Right.
You don't belong here. So
Right.
that is more hurting, you know.
Right. Because you know
So
they're trying to hurt you. They're saying things to
yes,
make
yes.
sure they hurt you.
Exactly. And so then I shifted my motto and everything, and I started an Instagram account because one of my friends said that you go on Instagram and just, you know, start writing and sharing, like just
Yes.
as a friend. Like this
Yes.
is your friend, and you start writing and sharing. So I started my yoga experiences, my works first,
Yes.
and now whatever I'm doing, I started sharing on this also. Those community people or some XXX people gave the negative vibrations. I can feel that how she is
Mhm.
making so good here.
Mhm.
I make
Right.
good everywhere where I go.
Right.
So
That's the
that's
thing. Everywhere you
yeah.
go, you plant those
So
seeds everywhere.
yeah, yeah. So that, some people are like, oh, she's on Instagram because she wants to earn money. Oh my God, this is what you think. This is not the reality.
Like, let me
Okay,
tell
it's
you.
it's okay. Even I was not knowing about all this thing. I'm still learning how to use the Instagram. But I'm
Right.
very
Me
happy,
too.
you
It's
know.
not easy. Not
Yeah.
easy.
But I'm happy to meet you and all the other
Me
people like
too.
me,
Right.
those who
Isn't
actually
that the
want
thing?
to.
It's like you started opening up your spirit, even though people were kind of pressing you down. You opened up your spirit, and then the other spirits that were like yours were provided. It's like people start coming in your
Right.
path. And I love your feed because you do all of the yoga poses, and I look at your face and you look so happy.
Thank you, thank you. I just try to more inspire people that they can do. a lot of things, being in yoga field from so many years, still I struggled a lot. I guess I
Right.
was saved because of yoga practices only. Otherwise, I
Right.
would be lost somewhere.
Right.
And
Hmm.
now it's like I have uh, focused on that I won't expect much from people on Instagram too. I'm just asking, hi, hello, would you like to
Right.
connect me? So if
Right.
they says yes, it's okay. If they say no, it's even okay for me because I'm
Hmm.
just going on sharing. There will be people and there are people who will love you. It's not that, everywhere
Right.
people will just hate and be jealous of you.
Right.
So I'm just trying my best over here.
And I think the thing is, because I had experiences like that as well, where everybody stops talking to you or everybody just decides that they want to be mean. And I do think those experiences made me stronger as a person. But, like I said, when you get on Instagram and you see other good spirits, they encourage you, so when you come across people like that again, like I'll look back to this day with our interview and I'll be like, that was so cool. Well, what I want to know is, here in America, there's still a lot of stigma associated with mental illness. And anxiety isn't really necessarily a mental illness, but there's a lot of stigma associated with that too. Do you find the same thing to be true in India?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
I
like,
think it's because of the generation. I guess because now people are not more stronger emotionally and mentally too.
right, right. The judgment, when people judge, that just makes it really hard for me because
Very, very hard.
yeah, a lot of times when I post things about anxiety, I'll ask, what are your triggers? But I did do one post where I said, do you notice the signs if somebody else is becoming anxious, and how do you react to that? Because sometimes if people don't understand, they totally like shy away from it. Well, one thing I want to know also is you have children and your kids are very small. And I know I have actually four kids. I have two step kids, 27 and 22. And then I have a son that's 20 and another son that's 12. And there's
That's
8 years between them. So I had kind of a little break to breathe a little bit.
oh, yeah.
But I think sometimes us as parents, we don't think about just the stress of parenting. How do you deal with that when you've got all of these things going on? You're a professional for one, you're a mom, and then you're a yogi. You have all of these. How do you put all of these pieces of your life together?
See, I divide 24 hours in
Hmm.
all the roles that I'm playing with.
Hmm.
Like I just feel that I'm a mother. This is one of the role I have given. I've got from the God, So I have
Yes.
to play that the role too. A
Yes.
wife, a daughter-in-law, a daughter. I am blessed with a lovely, lovely my parents who taught me so nice
Oh.
sanskaras. We can say the values of life. I love my
Hmm.
brother, he's a doctor as of now and
Hmm.
serving for humanity from last 4 months in a hospital. He's
Hmm.
not back home yet as it's the lockdown going on. So I'm missing them
Right.
all. And even I'm blessed with a lovely mother-in-law and my husband too, who are like,
That's a big blessing.
they don't want me to work. They say that you sit.
Really?
There was a time that they kept 5 servants. You don't work,
Hmm.
you sit
Hmm.
with us. It was
Hmm.
that. We don't
But
want
you
money
couldn't
from
do that.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, my soul is not satisfied till I do yoga
Right.
or I'm in yoga practices. So, that's my inner soul that speaks up.
Yes.
So even after,
Yes.
and that motivates too, that even after being a mother and all, it's never a negative pressure on me, like you are a mother and you have to do all these things. I'll tell you one thing, for both my kids, I've never given babysitting to them. Wherever I went, I took them with me, you know.
Wow. Hmm.
I was working with them. It
Oh,
was
that's
very
really,
difficult. It's very
Americans don't
difficult.
understand that. Wow.
It's very difficult, but it's not impossible. The
Hmm.
work will be done less, but the work will be done,
Right.
right? So
I
the
even see
so the
pictures of you doing yogi with your yoga with your kids in the picture.
Yeah, even they get inspiration, and then my daughter
Right.
comes, Mama, see, even I'm doing like this,
Yeah.
you like
Yeah.
you do. So
Yeah,
even
that's so
now she
cute.
also started with that, and
That's so
even my
cute.
son, like when I put mantras and anything, then he is motivated and he just look around. That's good when you spread that positivity around your
That
kids
is.
too.
That is. And then you're making
And
them
that gives
grow up to be
motivation,
strong.
yeah, and that's give motivation for me to work more.
Yeah. Yeah. In America, the concept of keeping parents and children separate is really big here. Like, I don't even know a lot of people that can consider a life where they're doing their work with their children there. So I think that is amazing. And I know for sure your children are going to be grateful for that one day. Um, let's see. When I think about anxiety, another thing that I think about is it's a natural human emotion. Like sometimes we treat anxiety like it's like, oh my gosh, I'm anxious. And yeah, it does feel that way, right? Like when you feel anxious, it does feel that way. But I
Yeah.
know in India, people are a lot more spiritual. And sometimes when I think about myself, I think about myself as a spirit that incarnated into a body. And when I came into this body, I came here to experience the full range of emotions. So that means I'll get mad at a time, I'll be happy, I'll be bored, I'll be excited, nervous, anxious, depressed. All of these are emotions that we're supposed to feel. I think the thing is, we just got to put, none of them should control our life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
That's true. I mean, what you're
Hmm.
saying is true.
Hmm.
And
So
we
I
are
think it,
humans. We are humans. We are not machines. We are not
right,
computer. There's all emotions are natural and let them come.
right. I think another thing about Americans is sometimes, I don't know if it's this way in India as well, but sometimes it's almost like you're expected to always be happy. Like if you walk around and you just have a slight frown on your face, just kind of like this, like you might be thinking, but the first thing people say is, "What's wrong?" Like,
Okay.
what's wrong? Like something has to be wrong.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
nothing like that here.
No, not like that there. Okay. I think
No.
that might be an American thing because a lot of times it's just like if you're not happy, something's wrong with you. So, in India, do they do like hmm, do you pay attention to each other's facial expressions, or is everybody just so busy doing their own thing they don't even think about it?
See, I would say that in metro cities, like where I live in Mumbai, there people don't have time to look more in other people's
Right,
life because many
right,
people are just busy with their own world here. Even my
hmm,
neighbors won't even ask some days or some times.
right.
As so in other states of India,
Hmm.
maybe the case, but not in metro cities.
Hmm. So you've done like so much, like I said, in your very short lifetime. What hopes and dreams do you have for the future? Like, what do you want to do a year from now, 5 years, 10 years from now?
I want to connect more and more people with the
Yeah.
same mentality to share the knowledge and experience of spirituality, because when it comes to spirituality, the people who are not so, they are educated by their
Yes.
career, but they are
Yes.
not so understanding that they mix it with the religion.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Religion.
And then when it comes in India, it's like, please, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just out of it. And then I realized that it's not only I was facing, but many, many, many people are facing the same thing, that
Yes.
spirituality is considered as religious too. But this is
Right.
totally different.
Totally
Spirituality is
different
different.
things.
Exactly.
I
You know,
feel,
so
honestly, I feel sometimes like religion is about control. Sometimes it's about manipulation,
I
and I
respect
don't
all the
like that.
religions. I respect all the religions,
Yes.
because see, we are just like I feel that we are in an ocean, and in
Mhm.
ocean there are different kinds of fishes,
Right.
with
Hmm.
their differences as well as their uniqueness. So we
Yes.
should respect each other with that basis,
Yes. Yes. I agree.
rather than trolling them down, pulling them
Right.
down,
Right.
insulting them, disrespecting them. The
Right.
no, we're not valuing them. It's more hurtful. It
Yes.
leads to the suicide cases then later on
I agree.
for the emotional and sensitive people.
I
As
totally
I was
agree.
before. I was before, but I guess it's only yoga that saved my life and changed my life and gave me new life. And so um, I want to share my yogic knowledge with them. And as I experience, I'm a yoga therapist, I treat patients. Those who are not in yoga field, they have so many doubts of yoga.
Right. Is that the
And
more
when they have so
religious
many of
people?
doubts of yoga, yeah, and when they
Yes.
have so
Yes.
much doubts of yoga, they may tend to the like wrong information about yoga. So I
Hmm.
have to clear that. I bring them to the yoga. And while this, the people who lately joined me, they are like, yoga is not a workout. Why are you making that? In my recent research, I was doing yoga as a workout, yoga asanas as a workout
I
too,
see.
not the meditation but the workout too, as a for
Hmm.
the not yogi peoples, non-yogi peoples, not for the
Okay.
yogis. Those who are in the yoga field, they are already in their journey.
Right.
They are already doing what they want, where they are going. But the non-yogis, I'm bringing them to this world, is a difficult thing,
Yes.
because people are more tend to the music. People are more
Yes.
tend to the high bass, dan 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 dan. It attracts them. It take their minds towards that. And that slowly, 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 in my one meditation experiment that I have done, that
Hmm.
um, I used to give meditation where a loud sound, from there,
Hmm.
slowly, 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 I bring it
Mm.
to the slow, the low, the lowest, and then the gone. The music is
Mm.
gone, the mantra is gone, and for
Hmm.
that moment of time, the people are just lost in that
Right.
meditation. So that
Right.
experience taught me that if I start with the small workouts, let the people start coming in yoga. There is no Newton law
Hmm.
for yoga,
Hmm.
universal law like yoga is only for the relaxation, only for the slow asanas. Yoga
Hmm.
is for this, yoga is that for. No, yoga's specialty is, yoga is different for every person,
Right.
you know
Well, are there some people that tell you, I can't turn my mind off, I can't stop thinking, I'm trying to concentrate on yoga and I can't focus? What do you do to help them? Because I'm one of those people.
I make them to listen my workouts, do my workouts, and listen to my meditation first, because
Hmm.
now this year I can say, when I'm having small kid, I'm practicing on that only.
Yeah.
The people, those who are not in yoga field, I try to make such workouts and meditations for them. Once they get the relaxation and they get the benefit of it, that they get the taste of yoga, you know
Yes.
then we can proceed ahead with the yoga practices.
I love that idea. I love the idea. So are you saying that you do the workout first and then you do the yoga? May
Yes.
I please say, I think that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So
Because
I
then
just
honestly, your mind seriously is just like all like this. You know what I'm saying? It
yes,
seems
yes,
like
yes, exactly.
I
And
think I
at
would.
that moment, when you go to other yoga people, I'm sorry to say, but they directly start with like, concentrate on your breathing, and
Yes, it
your
drives me
mind is so
crazy.
disturbed, and
Mhm.
running here and there, so many thoughts inside already. And while that, how can we do, yoga and meditation? Many people sleep
Me.
while doing the meditation. And so and so for that I started with this thing, that where I'm just experimenting yet again,
Yeah,
like
I think
people
that's a
are
great idea.
enjoying the workouts, and then after
Mhm.
workouts, the asana practice, and then the meditation. So the highest one, like the dinchak 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 high music, and after that the asana
And
practice,
bring
and
it
after
down.
that the
Okay.
meditation practice. So this is the three main posts that I'm focusing on my Instagram, where it
Okay.
might help some other people.
I think it'll definitely help me. I really do. That is seriously ingenious. So, did you have
Thank
any
you.
questions you wanted to ask me?
Yeah, sure. I kept with me actually. So when was the first time you want to go to the therapy, and why?
Well,
Thank you.
the first time I actually went to therapy was because of a racial profiling situation. I am not sure exactly what the situation is in India, but I know that sometimes people are based on their skin color. And so here in America, that's a really big problem. I was just only 14, and I was driving in the car. I was riding in the car with my mother, and we were racially profiled. Supposedly, they were on the lookout for two black male robbers, was what the police officers said. And then they just kind of turned on the sirens, went in front of the car, and aimed their guns at us. And my mother was hearing impaired, and so I was terrified. I jumped out of the car and I said, don't shoot, please don't shoot," not realizing that they could have killed me. So I started therapy because of that racial profiling situation.
That's
um,
bad.
and I would have a lot of nightmares. Even when I started driving, I was really nervous whenever I was anywhere near a police car. So it was very, very hard for me. So that was what started me going to therapy. But I think I was kind of a lazy patient because I just expect the therapist to solve all of my problems. It never occurred to me that I could ask for a treatment plan. Like, you can ask your therapist, where are we going? What are we focusing on? You can't talk to your therapist about everything in your life.
Right.
So, throughout the years, of course, I started when I was a teenager, and then, other things come up in life as I'm in young adulthood. And then I realized that I had a lot of codependency issues based on the way that I was raised. And so that's what I'm currently, working on in therapy. But I foresee there may be some times in my life where I may not need it, but I never feel any type of way if I need to go back to therapy. So I see therapy as a tool to help me promote my life and to live my life better, to live, my best life. If you go to a therapist for something like I'm dealing with codependency, my therapist is trained in how to deal with that. So I know that if I talk to him about those issues, then he'll guide me to some things that will be able to help me. Mhm.
Okay, good. But that's really bad about that color difference, people are, and the
I
latest case
know.
also I know with the George, I guess the name of the person
Yeah, in
is.
America, it's really bad. And as an American, it's kind of shameful that that's the situation, but that's how it is. And it's been this way for decades and centuries.
Then I
Sometimes
guess
they'll,
many people have to, I have to spread the spirituality and yogic practices all over the America too.
yes. I feel like Black people really need those types of practices because um, our souls are so tired. There are many injustices and things that happen that are not fair. And basically, my ancestors built up this country. And so, as a Black person, a lot of times you navigate with people judging you or doing small things to
Exactly.
remember when you were talking about your friends, and they don't necessarily say like I hate you or anything like that, but
They
in
make you
my
feel
case,
that.
yeah, you can feel it. See, and you're a spiritual person, so I'm a spiritual person. People don't have to open up. They don't have to open their mouths and say a word. I can know if they don't love me and they don't respect me. I already know. And so, I feel like, I would love to work with you to learn more, first of all, but these spiritual practices, I feel like my people need more of these, so that we can center ourselves and not always be so upset about these things. But yeah, it and it happens with children. It happens all the time. It's very unfortunate.
Bad.
Mhm. Yeah.
I noticed you wrote a book. Do you still go to therapy now?
Yes, even though I wrote a book, my book
Wonderful.
is something that I use as a resource for myself also.
That's
Even though
nice.
I've written it to share it with the world, it's something that I myself use as a resource. Hi. Is that your father-in-law?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
We just woke up.
Uh-huh. I use my own book as a resource. I don't believe in telling someone else to do something that I don't do myself. So, like I said, I'm a human. There are going to be times when I'm going to feel anxious. Anxiety is not something that leaves forever. But that's why I named my book Taming the Beast of Anxiety. It's not killing or destroying the beast. It's always going to be there. And we're going to have to figure out how to deal with, people don't understand. Sometimes you get so worked up from being so happy. Nobody ever talks about that. There are some
Right,
people that get so happy they literally get sick, like they can't deal with it. So
right,
anxiety is something that you have to put in perspective in terms of your life. That's what I believe.
right, right, right. Good. And I would like to read your book too.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
And why did you decide to write a book about anxiety?
Um, Okay, it's kind of interesting how this happened. I had a life coach, and she had a group, and she told the group that they could write about something, and the title for the group book was going to be Push Past It. Like, if you're going through something, you have to push past it and get on with whatever you're doing. And at the time, obviously, like honestly, I was feeling a lot of anxiety at the time. And so I said, I'm going to write about pushing past anxiety. So honestly, the book was written to myself. I wrote the story literally to myself, and I
Great.
shared it in that book. So there was a book. That book was with about maybe 10 other authors, and so we published that book. And I only had 5 pages in that book, and so I decided to revise it and expand it. And then that way I was able to really get into some details. Like I said, at the time I wrote that book, there were only 4 steps, but now the book has 7 steps. And remember when I was talking to you, the last step is about connecting to your purpose. We don't
Right.
realize that. I believe that, like I said, when I incarnated into this body, I feel like I had a discussion with God, and I said, okay, these are some things that I want to do. I want to help humanity with this thing or with that thing. And when we don't get a chance to do those things, when we can't meet that goal, that's what makes us feel anxious. The fact that we're
Right.
not doing what we came here to do, we start feeling like we're running out of time. We even feel like imprisoned. We feel like we're jailed in our own body. So,
Right.
writing the book actually was a very healing experience for me.
Very nice. Very good.
Yeah.
So, are there any American celebrities who helped you lessen the stigma associated with anxiety?
Well, I think the first American that I ever heard talk about mental illness at all was an actress, and her name is Catherine Zeta Jones. Um, when she spoke about, her mental health journey, Notice the way that I speak about this. I don't say mental illness. I feel like we have to empower ourselves with our words.
Right.
So when she spoke about her mental health journey and her challenges and her obstacles and things that she had experienced, it really inspired me because here in America, a lot of times we look at celebrities, at least at that time, and it was just like they were perfect people, like they never had any problems. There was never anything that went wrong in their lives. And so when she came out and she said that she was, there were certain challenges in her mental health journey, that really actually inspired me. More recently, the Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps, and him being talking so openly about his mental health journey has been inspiring. And then there's also a singer. Uh, some people love him, some people don't, but Kanye West has been very open about his journey with mental health. And I think that it's important for people to speak openly about it because it encourages people like me. I think
Right.
without those people speaking openly, I would think something was wrong with me or I'm going crazy. Those people actually inspired me and uplifted me. So I'm grateful for them, taking a chance and stepping out of their comfort zone to say something.
Right. Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Have you experienced anxiety because of lockdown, protest, and how do you feel about it?
Wait, say one more time. For some reason, I can't hear you.
Okay. Have you experienced anxiety because of lockdown, protest? How do you deal with it?
Oh, interestingly enough, probably around January of this year, I started having a lot of trouble with my anxiety. So that was around January. Um, I had a really intense episode with my anxiety. And you have to be careful with anxiety or depression because if it goes on too long, you can start having these suicidal thoughts and all of these other things can come about. Like, is life really worth it? So I was on that kind of a situation in January, and I had to take some time off work to make sure that I dealt with it properly. So a few months later, just a few months later in March was when we started, having lockdowns, experiencing that here in America. And it was kind of interesting to me because it was almost like it was the opposite. It was like everybody else was going crazy and I had already gone crazy. So I was fine. And I'm looking at everybody else going crazy, because it was difficult for people to think about staying in their homes all the time. And all of us, on this planet are different personalities. Um, I have found actually that I almost have to force myself to leave. We're not on lockdown per se anymore, but I find that I almost have to give myself reasons to leave every day. And I definitely try to make sure that I get out and allow the sun to hit my skin at some point during the day because we miss out on getting vitamin D if we don't do that. Um, but basically, I haven't experienced anything too difficult with lockdown. It is kind of hard because we live in an apartment and I live with males who are very loud sometimes. So, but I have a little tiny patio, so I'll go out on my patio, and that's like my safe space, my comfort zone. I think all of us kind of have to work on finding, a place that works for you, a safe and comfortable place. So that's what I did with that. I try to find my own place, even if it's the closet, if it's unoccupied, the bathroom for a few minutes, the patio, so that I can center myself. I'm an empath, so what happens with people like me, sometimes you feel everybody's emotions at the same time. And I literally have to make sure that I separate myself so that I don't become consumed by what's going on for other people. So I actually think I've done a pretty good job
Yes.
during lockdown personally, but I know some people have not. And I do just want to say, I feel like all of us need to be respectful of those people. There are some people that don't do well being locked down all day. It really interferes with their mental health. There are other people. Can you turn that light on, please? Oh, that's so much better. There are other people who are in abusive situations, domestic violence situations, and they can't escape it. You know, before lockdown, they could go to work. Um, and so we have to think about these things. We have to be mindful of each other as human beings. That's what I believe.
Right. And in this, I have learned one thing, that we should keep boundaries too for our
Yes.
self care. Self care
Yes.
is a priority. This I wasn't knowing before, because I was just going on making happy to other
Right.
people's, but you know, they stood as making me a joker,
Right.
you know making
Right.
fun of me and entertaining kind of thing, and that was the hurtful thing ever.
Hmm.
Because then I realized, self-care is a priority too.
Hmm.
And I
Self-care.
have seen that the most humblest person also kept the boundaries. So
Hmm.
now, even on Instagram when I'm working, it's
Hmm.
just like, I'm trying my best, I'm giving my 100%.
Right.
Those who are coming to me, I'm happy. Those who are
Right.
not coming to me, I'm happy,
Right. That's
because
a
they can't enter to my mental place now.
right.
They can't
Right.
disturb it, because I've kept those boundaries around
Right.
me, which they can't cross.
I love that boundaries is so important in my work with codependency. That is always what my therapist talks about is the importance of having boundaries and with
Some people
self-care.
say, like, you block the person, or you're
Yeah.
not talking to them,
Yeah.
it's like you are having some issues. But I would
Yes.
say that it's the boundary that I kept, so that they won't, disturb the mental
Right.
peace
Right.
again and again, because I have to keep that stop.
Yes.
You can't
Exactly.
cross the,
Stop.
you can't,
Stop.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't cross that
Right.
borderline,
Right.
just to
But
hurt me again and again.
right. For you not to allow that. And see, you can realize now that that is the ultimate self care. Setting boundaries is a form of self care because that's you
Exactly.
saying, I love myself enough not to be tortured anymore. I don't have to allow anyone else to torture me. I can say, okay, this is how much I can tolerate. And if you can't respect that, then you don't need to be a part of my life. I feel like women specifically and children are often taught to ignore their intuition. And part of setting good boundaries is honoring your intuition. You know, if someone has hurt you, I feel like it's important for you to be able to have an internal conversation and say, I don't want to do that anymore.
Exactly.
I feel like that's
Exactly.
fair. And you know, self-care means many different things. Like I have earplugs. You know, I believe in earplugs. I believe in earplugs.
Great.
Sometimes because like I said, I live with men and they're very loud. Sometimes
Right.
we can be in the same room and I'll just put the earplugs in. That's me honoring and caring for myself. You know,
Right.
sometimes yes, I'll say you guys are being too loud. Just stop. You know, but I don't want anybody constantly imposing on who I am as a person. So we have to kind of give and take, you know what I'm saying? And also for me, another one is honoring my art time. Like I love to do watercolor. It just helps me to feel so free. So self-care comes in many different forms. Yeah.
Good.
Any more questions?
Not enough as of now, but we'll connect you soon.
Huh?
We'll connect you soon for the next session, I
I
would
would
say.
love to. I really
Ah,
would. Because I feel like a lot of times I hold myself back. But as an instructor, I'm pretty sure you know a lot of things happen subconsciously. Sometimes you're not even aware that things are going on in a certain way. So it's important to be able to connect with yourself. Like what I've learned in codependency studies is, um, when you start not having good boundaries and getting all involved with other people, it's because you lack a relationship with yourself. So my biggest thing has been respecting all of myself. Like I have these different things I do, and some of them are like a little kid, like I have different color markers, and like I said, my watercolors, and I like fuzzy socks and matching pajamas. These are things that I do to respect my inner child. Because if we don't respect our inner child, then she throws a temper tantrum, with somebody else, like she starts screaming when she didn't mean to, or there was something she was supposed to do and she didn't do it. She prevented, me from doing it. So it's just about knowing and respecting yourself is what I think.
Yeah, we see we are the developed animals on this planet. So, being a human, we actually should respect each other with
Right?
their differences and their
Right.
uniqueness, because every person is different and every
Right.
person is unique in their own way. You
Yes.
know, this
Yes.
if everyone understand, there won't be black and white issue also.
I agree. I agree. There won't be male female issues that happen sometimes too with domestic issues. All of those issues could be resolved. Like you said, I always call it we need to see the best in each other. If you let everybody work at their best capacity, think about how this world would be. It would be so amazing.
Exactly. So
Right.
everyone should need a spiritual learning, I guess now,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
And now my younger kid Ahan woke up. He's crying.
Okay, you want to end now? We can end now. We got 56 minutes. That's pretty good.
I love the talk with you, and I would
Me
love to
too.
connect you always. You're a
Yes,
lovely
me
soul.
too. Always, 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 always. I love it. And I love your spirit. Keep doing your work. Your work is amazing.
Thank you.
Namaste. Indeed.
Namaste.
Indeed. Indeed. Definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, see you.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye,
Same to you.
everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone.